All right, Chef Anthony here from Don's Appliances. We are in the studio with Erin today. Erin, say hi to everyone, please.
Hello, everybody. How are you?
Right, special guest here. You know what I mean? We got a cool topic today that we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about, keeping the same brand in your kitchen, in your appliances. So, kind of some pros and cons about it. Erin, how do you feel about that?
I get it a lot. I mean, when I was on the sales floor, people would always come in and ask, should I purchase all the same brand? And the answer is actually really simple. It really depends on what you like. I mean, there were multiple times I did a package of 4 and they were all 4 different appliances, but then they wouldn't get the rebate offer. So a lot of brands are offering different rebate options, things like that, that you it entices you to purchase all the same brand.
And everybody out there listening, that is huge depending on like the brands and the rebates at that time. That really, if you want to bundle that whole kitchen together,
right.
You're kind of, you might see a significant price break or, a free, something depending on what the promotion is at the time. That's huge. A lot of customers, though, talk about stainless because, stainless is always the giant in the room.
Yes.
So talk about the differences in stainlesses. So, you might run into.
Yeah, so there are some brands that offer like fingerprint resistant stainless steel, which is going to look a little bit more matte-like, where they might not have the other brand have that option. So what's really, I think, beneficial about that is, you really want to make sure that whatever you're looking at kind of does match, because depending on the light, you might be able to catch the difference.
Yeah.
Sometimes they can have a little bit more of a blue hue, sometimes a little bit more of a brown. That's a really good point too. It's just making sure, kind of aesthetically, does everything match?
Yeah, and if that doesn't matter to you, I always say go for what you want. If you want that steam oven, or you want that microwave over here, depending about kitchen placement is what we always talk about too. Is your refrigeration, talk about that a little bit, like, is your refrigeration going to be next to your dishwasher or vice versa?
Absolutely.
So that could be a huge point, right?
Yeah, just making sure, like, especially refrigeration, are you paneling it or are you doing stainless? If you're paneling it, you kind of are opening up the option of different brands because it is not going to be seen. The stainless isn't going to be visible. But again, going back to the placement, what is going to be on that wall? Are they going to be right next to each other? Are going to be across from each other? Is that going to be the first line of sight when you walk in the kitchen? You know, kind of just thinking about even the aesthetic or the flow, if you will, of how everything is going to be laid out.
Because when you can jump into it, you can talk about the different grains on the stainless for different manufacturers.
Right.
You're right. And you might think we're like talking crazy because stainless is stainless, but sometimes from
different grades,
different manufacturers and different makes and models, it does look off if it's right next to each other. Another like aesthetically pleasing or topic we always talk about is handlebars.
Yes.
Is a huge one from range to refrigeration. We always talk about pro handles, European handles. Jen Air has very significant looking handles, and so do a lot of the premium brands we have.
And I think they do that so that you do want to purchase, and it's enticing to purchase all the same brand because it's harder to mix and match with different manufacturers at that point. But there's also brands like Bosch and Beko and Samsung now, even Whirlpool, that are making things like microwaves without handles, dishwasher without handles, where you don't see the logo right on the front, which is nice because then you can kind of work in that different piece into a package without having to worry about it looking completely different.
See, that's a huge piece. Even those pocket handles on that to where they're seamless and they're kind of hidden anyway. That's a great opportunity for a customer to mix and match some pieces. When you're talking about pro handles, they look so distinct.
Yes.
And
every brand has a different pro handle, if you will.
You're right. That's why they're pro handles. They're bigger, they're bulkier, they're, a statement piece, if you will, in the world of kitchen. We also talk about, differences in the appliances, the black glass versus the gray glass. Things like that, really, kind of set your kitchen off, kind of can move in a different direction if you're not looking at it closely, right? So I feel like, that's a good one too. It's just, especially from, microwave ability, what I mean? Slim or, the thicker microwave.
Yeah.
What else do you find in, the customer package that, customers are saying that, looks different?
One of the things that I always recommended when I was on the floor was when somebody walked in and said, I'm looking for a package, I want a new kitchen, I would always say, okay, what's the most important piece to you? Because from there, you can kind of build either a package around that one piece that might be all the same brand. Like if, let's for instance, they love to cook, and the range is going to be that centerpiece in their kitchen. Okay, let's start there. Are you comfortable going, like if it's, let's say, a SKS or something a little bit more higher end, is that the direction you want to stay with the rest of the kitchen? you know, knowing that this is going to look a little bit different, it's going to have that more professional look, then we can kind of build off there. If the direction is, hey, I love this rebate offer, it's super enticing, let's go with it. Or you know what, I want all my money to be in this range. I want to spend the bulk of it here. I want to, you know, maybe go off course a little bit with the dishwasher, with the refrigerator, things like that. But that's kind of how I always started, is what was so important to you? Where did we want to go with that? You know, refrigeration, if somebody's looking for columns, okay, what size columns? If they're doing 236s, I mean, not only is that going to be a little bit more costly, but also, are we paneling it? If we're paneling it, like I said earlier, we can kind of go to a different brand potentially for the cooking appliances.
That's a huge starting point, though. I feel like that's, you know, kind of the key is, huge starting point is to kind of say, hey, this is the piece that I want to start with.
Yes,
and kind
most important.
And kind of focus my kitchen around, whether it be cooking, like you said, whether it be refrigeration, there has to be a starting point, you know, a budget as well.
Absolutely,
too. But like the starting point is kind of the center of the tree that you can branch off of and really, you know, get into what you think. And, you know, 90% of me, like, I love the symmetry of how everything looks the same. You know,
I'm an aesthetically driven person too, so when people ask me, I'm like, oh, do you really want to hear my opinion? Because I like everything to match. I'm a very matchy person.
But like in the beginning, you know, when I first started like 9 years ago, I was like, oh, I would have this range, I would have this piece and this piece and this piece.
Your dream kitchen was like a mix of everything.
You're right. Like the dream kitchen, my dream kitchen when I started here was
totally
the best of everything. You know, I want the high-end range. I want the high-end. I want the best microwave. I want the best, and that's great. I mean, there are still customers that come out there, and it doesn't bother them because they know they have the best performing pieces.
They've done their research. They, you know, talked to the sales associates,
and I play devil's advocate with that because the chef in me wants the, you know,
high BTU burner.
I want the high BTUs. I want the steam oven. I want the best of this, and I want the best of that. And there are folks out there that do that. So you know what I mean. But I know there, you know, I hate to say the older I am, the more like the more symmetry I want. Even for, you know, a general package. Let's talk about like you know your general 30-inch slide in. You know what I mean? So you're going to look at controls on the front or controls on the back. Now, what do you think? What do you feel like customers are talking about with that one? You know?
Well, I think truly, I mean, since we are so, you know, when people are changing their kitchen, they really want it to be, you know, a little bit more tile. They want it to be more of an attractive overall look. I think the slide in is definitely, what I have seen, from my opinion, it is the direction a lot of people are going. They don't want that big piece in the back kind of being an eyesore.
You're right, and I do feel like the safety of the controls on the front and things like that work, and it's just more slimline piece. I mean, when we talk about, you know, we're talking about, you know, what you want in your kitchen, do you want it the same? I think, you know, symmetry comes down to it, and it all depends in the very end what the customer wants.
Absolutely.
You know
At the end of the day, the customer, you know, we are here to guide, we are here to help, but you are the end all be all. You're the decision maker. So
you're right. So I hope this helps everyone kind of distinguish, you know, the differences between a lot of what we have.
And things to think about.
You know, once again, you can go to donsappliances.com, check out all of our stuff on our website, and you'll go to all of our 11 showrooms and check out our water source as well. So thank you much. Thanks, Erin, for having us.
Thank you, Chef.
All right. Bye.